Welcome, everyone. We're here to guide you into a serene night of rest and learning. It's about finding that wider dimension in the dark, isn't it?
Absolutely, the night opens its arms to us, offering space and silence. It's incredible how the room fades away, leaving only comfort behind.
As we breathe in and out, isn't it fascinating how each breath feels heavier, yet calmer? It's like the English words floating by don't land, but simply drift through.
Exactly. And that's the magic of it. The mind processes more than we give it credit for, even when we drift to sleep. Those quiet doors of learning open when we're not trying so hard.
You know, I recently read about an experiment where participants listened to new languages at night. They reported waking up with a surprising familiarity towards those phrases. It's as if our subconscious picks up on subtle cues without us being aware.
That's powerful. It suggests a layer of understanding we can access if we allow ourselves to relax into it. The absence of immediate pressure seems to be the key, doesn't it?
Yes, at night, the anxious thoughts about pronunciation or speed don't matter. It's just about the sound, gentle and comforting like a lullaby.
The removal of pressure at night allows us to relax muscles we didn't know were tense. Our neck, shoulders, and jaw just let go.
I love how thoughts begin to slow and stretch. It's like the story we're listening to has no urgency, allowing us to feel safe enough to let go and sink into the moment.
Time loses its structure here, doesn't it? We begin to live only in the now, learning in the quietest, patient way.
Have you ever noticed how some of the greatest ideas or solutions come in dreams or moments just before sleep? It's like our mind continues to weave the threads of the day, but without the knots of conscious thought.
Indeed. And that weaving process is so gentle, isn't it? The threads arrange themselves without our intervention, often revealing patterns and insights we couldn't force while awake.
Trust plays such a key role, too. At night, trusting what comes to us fosters deeper understanding without effort or force.
And if sleep comes, we let it. There's no need to resist wakefulness if it stays. It's all about being in the right state, whatever that may be.
The way the voice fades and returns, just like waves, is so soothing. It's a rhythm that dances on the edge of our consciousness.
It's fascinating how peace can often arrive without us realizing it. And even the night itself feels like a protective embrace.
There's no real destination with these stories, nothing to recall, only a rhythm that lulls us deeper into calmness.
And the beauty is that continuity, the way everything just carries on in its own leisurely pace. It's as if the night holds us without any intention.
Exactly. Breathing becomes such a natural process, guided by the night itself while English slips in and out, not as words, but pure sound.
When sound becomes comfort, it transforms our experience. Everything, even meaning, gets a chance to rest.
With time stretching thin, the focus shifts from trying to remember to simply being, allowing true rest to take its place.
Yes, and eventually, this rest doesn't require any action or being. It's just about existing in this deep state of listening and tranquility.
By lowering our guard, repeating familiar rhythms, and feeling at ease with them, we cultivate confidence deeply within.
That's the key. Forming a connection where English feels less foreign, almost like a distant home we once knew.
This is such a unique space, where nothing demands attention, and learning continues as naturally as breathing.
It's profound how this restfulness integrates into who we are without effort. It truly is deep listening.
You know, it reminds me of how some nights, even in crowded cities, there's a particular stillness that descends. It's like a collective pause where everyone unknowingly tunes into this shared calm.
Indeed. And that collective pause, even in bustling environments, demonstrates how shared experiences of tranquility can transcend individual states, creating a universal calm.
Exactly. And it's not just a phenomenon of our own perception. There are studies showing that nighttime quiet can improve problem-solving skills and creativity because the mind is free to wander without constraints.
Fascinating how that works, isn't it? Our brains consolidate memories and ideas during these peaceful night hours, almost as if the tranquility acts as a catalyst for deeper connections.
Have you ever tried listening to English as you drift off?
Yeah, I have. It's fascinating how it can create a calm atmosphere. It's not about understanding every word, but about letting the sound soothe you.
Let's start by talking about why nighttime has this unique effect on our minds. During the day, we're often pulled in many directions, but at night, there's this natural slowdown. How does this help with language learning, you think?
Well, at night, our minds aren't in a rush. This lack of urgency allows us to process sounds differently. The brain absorbs the language in a softer, unpressured way. It's like the sounds become part of our rest, almost like a lullaby.
That makes sense. It's a bit like a gentle introduction to something new. Even if it feels unfamiliar at first, it doesn't demand immediate attention. Instead, it lets us become accustomed to it.
Exactly. It's like when you settle into a new home. Initially, everything is new, but with time, it all becomes familiar and comforting. Listening to English at night has that same effect. The language becomes a gentle presence, rather than something complex that needs to be deciphered.
Right. And it seems this process builds trust. You begin to associate English sounds with safety and relaxation. The ritual of listening calmly, without the stress of trying to remember every word, can transform how you experience the language.
Absolutely. By letting go of pressure and just resting with English, you allow your brain to work in the background. It's like learning to float in water. At first, you feel you need to control, but then you realize that relaxing helps you stay afloat.
That's a great analogy. So often we think learning needs active participation and effort. But here, it's more about passive exposure. There's no need to remember specifics. It's more about the rhythm of the sounds washing over you.
And that rhythm becomes the anchor. The words are like waves, steady and calming. You don't analyze them. You simply let them be. It's comforting to know that this gentle exposure can still enhance your familiarity with English.
Have you noticed, too, how this listening practice extends into the day? Even as you're awake, the language feels less daunting, almost like a familiar melody playing in the background.
That's true. The repeated exposure at night does seem to carry over, making the language seem less foreign during the day. It's as if your mind remembers the peaceful association from the night before.
And this ties back into the concept of letting go. We often hold on to the idea that progress needs to be measured, but sometimes the best learning happens without us even realizing it.
Yes, by trusting the process and understanding that learning happens organically, we're able to see progress in a different light. It's not always about tangible results, but about a deeper, more intuitive engagement with the material.
So maybe, ultimately, it's about creating a space where nothing is expected of us, just allowing the sounds to exist alongside us without feeling the need for active engagement. How freeing is that?
It really is. The sounds, the calm voice, they reassure us that it's okay to simply exist without any agenda. It's a beautiful aspect of nocturnal learning that completely changes our relationship with the language.
So whether you fall asleep listening or stay awake, you're nurturing a calm relationship with English. It's about enjoying the journey rather than racing towards a destination.
Exactly. Thanks for discussing this wonderful practice with me. May your nights be filled with gentle sounds and restful sleep.
You know, somewhere between being awake and falling asleep, the mind tends to get curious. It's not hyper-alert, but just gently open. It's during this time that we can notice a sense of movement within us, a slow, comfortable shift where English no longer feels like a task.
Right. It becomes more like a companion, walking quietly beside you. Words start arriving softly, without any rush or pressure. They wait for the mind to be ready, allowing sentences to form naturally, one after another, in a smooth, rhythmic manner.
I've had moments like these, where nighttime seems to stretch endlessly, removing the pressure to perform. It's very different from those earlier days when learning English felt stressful, and every mistake weighed heavily on me.
That's the beauty of embracing this gentle approach. Mistakes lose their power. They cease to exist. Instead, there's just listening. English opens up like a vast, calm landscape where you stroll leisurely, with no destination or hurry in mind. Some words feel like old friends, while others spark a fresh curiosity.
You know, this reminds me of how children learn languages. They aren't anxious about errors or grammar intricacies. They simply absorb the sounds around them, attempting and experimenting naturally. Isn't this a powerful insight for adult learners too?
Indeed, watching a child interact with a new language can be enlightening. They embrace every word with wide-eyed curiosity and joy. It's about discovery rather than perfection, which is something we often overlook. This mindset can turn learning into a delightful exploration rather than a daunting task.
Exactly. When curiosity replaces fear, the learning process transforms. The voice of English becomes quieter, inviting you to draw closer, making every sentence feel intentional and every pause meaningful, doesn't it?
Yes. And even the silence contributes to learning. The mind leans into these pauses, then relaxes, realizing it doesn't need to work hard. This shift is how real learning happens quietly and naturally. It's comforting to know we don't need to understand everything, just enough to feel that English is possible and human.
Speaking of pauses, I've read about studies where adults practice silent periods, weeks, or even months, where they deliberately focus more on listening than speaking. This concept mirrors how babies learn, doesn't it? They listen intently, absorbing the language, soaking into their surroundings. What do you think about applying this method to adult learning?
It's quite fascinating to think of silent periods as an adult learning strategy. By focusing on absorbing rather than immediately producing language, we lower our stress levels. For example, remember the time when you first started learning English songs? The melodies and sounds lingered, and eventually, the words followed. This is a more natural process that respects our brain's ability to assimilate language on its terms.
The night wraps this feeling gently, doesn't it? There's no urgency to remember everything by tomorrow because the experience itself is enriching. It's how the story continues, without haste or pressure.
And in such a setting, the mind remains open. Learning becomes an enjoyable journey rather than a challenge. It's great to carry this approach into our daily practice of English, acknowledging the power of a relaxed, open mind.
I've noticed another fascinating thing: how shared language learning experiences create bonds. When you're learning with friends or a community, it feels less like a solitary pursuit and more like a shared journey. Have you seen this dynamic play out?
Absolutely. Group learning can be incredibly rewarding. It creates a space for shared discoveries and mutual support. When learners connect with each other, they often find encouragement in shared struggles and triumphs. This community spirit can add an enriching layer to the language journey.
It does make you appreciate the process. Even more, seeing English as an accessible part of life rather than an unreachable goal. Every conversation becomes a chance to enjoy the language culture rather than a test.
I agree. It's all about staying present and allowing the language to unfold naturally in our lives.
Thank you for spending this calming moment with us today. We hope you found it as insightful as we did.
Yes, take care, everyone. May your next study session be both relaxing and fruitful. Until next time.